Okay, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about using dichotomous keys, and before we really show you that, we're going to think back. They talked about this in 6th grade some, but I know it's been a long time. But what you talked about was how there's so many different living things in the world that scientists a long time ago developed a way to organize them and to keep them in neat little groups. They do that. It's called classification. Classification is when you group something by common characteristics. So they took the whole of everything that exists, and the first thing they looked at was, does it have a nucleus or not? And they would separate those into those groups, and then they would take like the ones that have a nucleus, like us and plants, and they would separate it further into kingdoms, like the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, the fungi kingdom, and then they would take each kingdom and then further go down until you got to one species, like a human or a long needle pine tree. One specific thing is a species. So what they do, they use a dichotomous key using characteristics like if they have a nucleus, or if they have a backbone, or if they have fur or walk on feet, those kind of things, to figure all of that out. So what we're doing is just going to look at the simple way of how that works. The first two you're going to do are very kind of silly. They're like little aliens, but I thought it would be a good start. Now the number one rule when you're using a dichotomous key is always, 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 no matter how many, like this is aliens, no matter how many you have to do for each one, you go through all the questions in order. It will change you up in order depending on which ones you pick. But you always start at the first question, always. So even if when we get on the last alien, we still start at number 1 on the questions. So I know it's kind of blurry, but you have one of these that I sent to you. Alright, so here's our first alien. We're going to try to figure out his scientific name. Alright, so you always start with number 1. Is his mouth open, or is his mouth not open? Well, his mouth is open, so you kind of follow the line. It says go to 2. So we go down to question 2. Does he have arms or no arms? Well, he doesn't have arms. Alright, if it stops at a name and doesn't tell you to go to another question, then that's his name. So this guy is called Alienus quadrilicus. Something like that, okay? So right down here, we're going to write that name. Okay? Now remember, you can pause the video as you need to. I know I write fast and talk fast. Alright, then when we go to the second guy, we still go back up and go to the first question. That's probably the hardest part for everybody. So this guy right here is what we're looking at now. We've got him done. So we're going to go here. Alright, so is his mouth open or not open? Alright, well his mouth is not open. So now we're going to go to question 4. No horns or horns? Well, he doesn't have horns, so no horns. Go to 5. No legs or legs? No legs. He is Alienus lobicus. So like I said, I know these are silly names, but it gets you used to the process of how to go through the questions. The ones you're going to have later are going to have lots more questions. This one's really, really simple. It only has 5. Alright, the third alien. Start at question 1. Always start at question 1. Okay, mouth open or not open? I know that's kind of dark, but his mouth is not open. So we're going to go to number 4. No horns or horns? Well, he doesn't have horns. Go to number 5. No legs or legs? He has legs. His name is Alienus physicus. Okay? So now we're on the 4th alien. You still start at question 1. Mouth open or not open? Well, not open. So you go to question 4. No horns or horns? He has horns, so he is Alienus stracus. Excuse me. Alright, this guy. Start at question 1. Always start at question 1. His mouth is open, so we go to number 2. Arms or no arms? He has arms, so we go to number 3. Hairy or not hairy? Well, he is not hairy, so his name is Alienus tritusicus. I'm going to run out of room there, so I'm going to put it on the bottom. Okay, course, the last one. I know we only have one name left, but we're going to go ahead and go through the questions. His mouth is open, so we go to number 2. He has arms, so we go to number 3. He's hairy, so his name is Alienus hericus. Okay, and these next 2 questions. When we give animals scientific names, we do that so that no matter where you go, no matter what language is spoken, the scientific names are all the same. And usually scientific names are based on Latin, so they're sometimes kind of funny. Like a orangutan, its scientific name is Pongo pygmaeus. African lions, it's Panthera leo. So they have kind of weird names, but it's just weird because we don't speak Latin. So here, each of these aliens belong to the same genus. That's one of the groups you'll put in when you go through. And so all of their genus is the same. And that's the first part of your scientific name. So they're all part of Alienus, that genus. And then this would be their species name. Okay? And so it says, look at the species name for each alien. How do you think these names were chosen? Well, they're chosen by things about the alien, like their physical features. Now, sometimes you can see that in scientific names, but usually we can't. It's just because we don't speak Latin, so we don't know what those words stand for. Okay, so this was just a little example. I'm going to show you the other 2 that you're going to do. This one, I want you to go ahead and put it in your journal on page 96. Alright, so put this one in 96, and then real quick, I'm going to go ahead and show you the other ones you're going to do. You can send them to me and I'll look over them. Okay, this one, you've got a lot more creatures to name, and you have more questions. But no matter which creature you're on, you start on number 1. So when you're on number 5, you still start at number 1 and go through. If you're on number 10, you start at number 1, you go through. A couple of questions that I know will come up is one of the questions asked about standing on legs or not. This shows he's standing or walking on his legs. These are legs, but he flies. He doesn't stand or walk on those legs because they're little and scrawny. So legs, but they're not standing or walking legs. The other question is, they ask if these are stripes. These are not stripes. These are scales. When you get to the one that has stripes, you will know it. Okay? Also pay attention and notice how the numbers go on here so you don't get the wrong number in the wrong spot. So then you have this one, and the last one you have is about sharks. And the shark one is probably the most true, obviously. They're real animals. The top part of this page is going to have how to do it. And then this part's really important because a lot of the questions are going to say things like it only has 1 dorsal fin or 2 dorsal fins and things like that. So these fins are all labeled with the names. So when you get to a question and ask questions about those, you'll know. You can look at this and see which is which. So this is the caudal fin, this tail fin. So if it says something like the top part of the caudal fin is similar to the bottom or it's really different, use this to help you. The questions are here. You always start with question 1. Go through. You can just put their common name. You do not have to put their scientific name on this one if you don't want to. And then there's all the sharks that you're going to name. Okay? Alright.